Okay, thank you. Yeah, this is Kidman Chan. Good morning. Today is December 17th, 2020, and this is a licensing and examination committee meeting, and the time is at 10:30, and in the web conference. And since we don't not require the roll call, and I just go ahead and go to the item number 2, which is that I'm welcome everybody to this committee. And thank you for all the committee members and all the board members and for participating in this teleconference. And also,
hello, Francisco. To interrupt you, could you call roll? Could we have a roll?
I'm sorry?
It's not required, but it'd be helpful if you could just go ahead and ask for the roll call, Kitman. Thank you.
And then, yeah, we'll have somebody call roll.
Just so we can show who's on the call right now. Thank you.
You need a roll call?
It'd be best, yeah.
Well, why the first committee meeting doesn't have need a roll call?
I took roll call during the first meeting.
Huh?
I did the roll call during the first meeting.
Okay, so let's have the roll call because
thank you, sir.
Okay, go ahead,
Sarah.
Oh, I'll go ahead and take roll call. This is Christine. Kitman Chan.
Yeah.
And Yongping Chen.
Present.
Okay, both members are present.
Okay.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Mr. Chen. Would you like to move to item number 3? I wasn't sure if you had finished your welcoming message, Mr. Chen.
Yeah. The item number 3 is the public comment. It's not on the agenda. So any public comment not on today's agenda?
Moderator, if you will please go ahead and open it up to the public.
This is the moderator, and at the direction of the committee, I have opened the Q&A panel. If you would like to make a public comment in regards to the Licensing and Education Committee, please click on the Q&A icon located in the lower right-hand corner of your computer and type, "I would like to make a public comment." You will be provided 3 minutes to make your comment and given a 30-second warning. I will now pause to allow individuals time to access this feature.
I have a point of information, Mr. Chan, before opening it up to the public, just to address a comment received at a previous committee that is more appropriate for this committee meeting. It's just a point of information. The Psi testing sites for the examinations are still open. They are functioning at the same reduced capacity as they've been earlier. We have not been provided any notice of changing to what they're offering, and we know that applicants have been testing this week. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
And one more thing, sorry. Applicants and school administrators are always able to check on the status of the PSI testing sites by going to the PSI website. That is all. Thank you, Mr. Chan.
Okay. So, public comments so far?
At this time, we have received no requests for public comment. Would you like me to close this feature?
Yeah, let's close the feature.
Feature has been closed.
Okay, the item number 4 is a discussion of possible recommendation to the board and regulatory bank for license acupuncture practice at Telehealth. Let's let Jay, please, to take over to explain it.
Mr. Hurt,
sorry about that. I was having trouble with finding my microphone. And again, Kitman, apologies for interrupting you during your introduction. I should have waited for that. So please accept my apologies on that one. I'm going to present on a discussion relating to regulatory language around the practice of acupuncture in telehealth. So I'll begin. In response to the COVID-19 pandemic, Governor Newsom's executive order N4320 provided that clinics, hospitals, and other healthcare facilities and healthcare providers maximize the number of capable healthcare workers through the use of telehealth services to ensure that Californians impacted by COVID-19 are able to access medical treatment as necessary. Additionally, the governor's order N4320 aimed to reduce the spread of COVID-19 and to protect healthcare workers, including the use of telehealth services wherever possible for any reason and not just limited to diagnosis and treatment of COVID-19 or related conditions. This order has allowed healthcare providers, including acupuncturists, to provide medical care and advice remotely to patients employing the practice of telehealth. Earlier this year, the Acupuncture Board received many questions from licensees and public as to whether the acupuncture profession could provide services via electronic means. Due to the sudden need and in the absence of regulatory authority, the board issued a telehealth statement for licensed acupuncture, providing general guidelines for the profession to follow when conducting telehealth. Business and Professions Code Section 2290.5 provides statutory authority allowing acupuncturists as well as other division to healing arts licensees to deliver healthcare via telehealth. Based on that authority, staff has identified that further guidelines and requirements specific to the delivery of acupuncture services provided via telehealth are necessary. I'm just going to do a side there. I would really recommend that members read the Business and Professions Code 2290.5 because it does provide a lot of specificity about how to employ telehealth, and the regulations that we're proposing are just clarifications based on the acupuncture profession. So staff, I'm going to go back to the memo now. Staff has brought proposed telehealth language to start the discussion among the committee members and stakeholders in attendance. The proposed language is based in part on standards within some of the programs under the Department of Consumer Affairs. Staff recommends that the committee review and discuss proposed language and provide any amendments for the purposes of bringing the matter to the full board for consideration. Alternatively, the committee may direct staff to conduct more research and bring the matter back to the committee for a future meeting. And so I think it'd be helpful now for us to go over just point by point the proposed language. It's about a page and a half. So I'm going to go ahead and proceed and just include that language to start before the discussion starts, okay? So our proposed language is to add to section 1399 452.1, which is standard of practice of Article 5, Division 13.7, Title 16 of the California Code of Regulations to read standards and practice for telehealth services. So a licensee would be permitted to provide acupuncture services listed in Section 4937 of the Business and Profession Codes via telehealth under the following circumstances. To a patient located in California is subject to California laws and regulation. As used in this section as a licensee, shall be a licensed acupuncture permitted to provide acupuncture services under Section 4927, subsection C of the code. C, the provision of acupuncture services under subdivision A are subject to the following conditions. The licensee holds a valid and current license issued by the board. The licensee obtains and documents informed consent for the provision of acupuncture services via telehealth from the patient. Such consent shall cover concerns unique to the receipt of acupuncture services via telehealth, including risks of confidentiality and security, data storage, policies and procedures specific to telehealth, the possibility of disruption and/or interruption of services due to technological failure, insurance coverage concerns, and other issues that the licensee can reasonably anticipate regarding the incompatibility between acupuncture services delivered in person and those via telehealth. 3, the licensee determines that the delivery of acupuncture services via telehealth is appropriate after considering at least the following factors. A, must be able to obtain sufficient diagnostic information to be able to determine a diagnosis and prescribe treatment. the patient's B, the patient's diagnosis, symptoms, and medical history. C, the patient's preference for receiving acupuncture services via telehealth. D, the nature of acupuncture services to be provided, including anticipated benefits, risks, constraints resulting from the delivery via telehealth. E, the provision of telehealth services is within the scope of competency of an acupuncture trainee in an approved acupuncture training program or a board approved tutorial program. The licensee is competent to deliver such services based on whether the licensee possesses the appropriate knowledge, skills, and abilities relating to the delivery of acupuncture services via telehealth, the information technology chosen for the delivery of telehealth services, and how the services might differ from those delivered in person. The licensee takes reasonable steps to ensure the electronic data is transmitted securely and informs the patient immediately of any known data breach or unauthorized dissemination of data. The licensee complies with all other provisions of the Acupuncture Practice Act and acupuncture regulations, and all other applicable provisions of law and standards of care in this state. Failure to comply with these regulations or laws and regulations relating to telehealth of the other state, if any, where either the licensee or the client is located constitute unprofessional conduct. And so that's the starting point for the regs that that staff has given to the board to consider. And with that, I will end my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. And any member of the committee had any comment or question?
Yes, Chair Chen.
Yes.
This is Yongping Chen. So I think as this proposal is very well written. It covers a lot of different aspects, and I think it's a good proposal. I would support this proposal. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? So, and then any public comment?
Moderator, please go ahead and open it up to the public comment.
This is the moderator, and at the direction of the committee, I have opened the Q&A panel. If you would like to make a public comment, please click on the Q&A icon located in the lower right portion of your screen and type "I would like to make a comment." All comments will be addressed in the order they are received, and you will be provided 3 minutes and given a 30-second warning. I will now pause to allow individuals time to access this feature. At this time, we have received no requests for public comment. Would you like me to close this feature?
Yes, please.
Feature has been closed.
Okay. If the committee member doesn't have any further questions, so I think the committee is accepting staff the recommendation for this license amendment, and committee staff and we're going to do a more search to bring this thing to the next time committee meeting if necessary. And anyone else doesn't have any comment and question?
Let's go ahead and take it to Dr. Chen. Are you in agreement with the recommendation Chair Chan is proposing?
Yes, I agree, Chairman Chen's recommendation to recommend. We recommend from the committee to the board. Thank you.
This is Fred from DCA Legal. Just to clarify the record, so is the committee moving to adopt the staff's recommendation?
Yes.
Okay, so there was a motion on the floor, and I guess I just want to clarify for the minutes. That's all.
Okay.
Certainly, we can open it up to public comment now, and I urge our stakeholders to comment on this. This is telehealth regulations for our licensees. It would be really beneficial for the board to hear how our licensees feel about this, as we've heard from our triage unit that receives all our calls from all our licensees and stakeholders, that something like this would be really appreciated, yet it is quite quiet right now on our public lines. So any possible comments would be welcome at this point, although we will be discussing this further.
At the direction of the committee, I have opened the Q&A panel. If you would like to make a public comment, please type "I would like to make a public comment" and send to all panelists. I will take comments in the order they are received, and again, you will be provided 3 minutes with a 30-second warning. At this time, we do have a couple requests for public comment. First up, we have an individual identified as Ron Zaidman. Your microphone has been unmuted.
This is Ron Zaidman, president of Five Branches University. On behalf of the university and all our practitioners, we thank the board for the clarity of this telehealth option during this pandemic. It is highly appreciated, and we know that both our practitioners and patients will appreciate this. So thank you very much for your contribution. Thank you.
Thank you. Next one.
Next, we have Sarah Hart. Your microphone has been unmuted.
Hi, this is Sarah Hart on the Public Policy Committee of CSOMA, and we really appreciate the clear guidance for telehealth. I've been practicing telehealth for the last couple months, leading acupressure classes, and it's been surprisingly effective, and the patients are benefiting from it. So thank you for the guidance.
Okay, thank you. Any more?
Yes, next we have Jerome Yang. Your microphone has been unmuted.
Hi, my name is Jerome Zhang. I'm the academic consultant in the Alhambra Medical University. Yeah, thanks for the California board's guidance. And now we prefer to recover the on-site clinical internship, because our consideration is the online internship is not of a good effectiveness.
Mr. Chan, if I may make a comment to help clarify matters here.
Okay.
Thank you. Just a reminder to the public, this is a request to create a regulatory package. This wouldn't be a waiver that would be taking place during the pandemic. As Jay mentioned and noted in the memo, the Business and Professions Code section does allow healing arts boards to engage in telehealth. What this regulation does is it codifies as it pertains to acupuncturists. Therefore, to the previous public members, this does not technically require that schools go to telehealth. This is a separate issue than the waiver that was discussed this morning. This is for licensees to practice telehealth and to have a clear guidance on how that telehealth is regulated itself. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is the moderator, and we have no additional requests for public comment. Would you like me to close this feature?
Yes, please.
Feature has been closed.
Okay, and so the meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Sorry. This is Fred. So does the record reflect that the recommendation has been adopted by the committee? Because that wasn't made clear.
Yes, after the public comment, we can go ahead and I'll just ask again. Kitman, you are for this or you are for or against this?
Yeah, you know, any member and of the committee and like to express their comment or otherwise, and to committee going to accept the recommendation from the medical, the board staff. Okay?
Thank you, Kitman. And Dr. Chen, you're recommending this as well?
Yes, do we vote or no?
It's a committee, so just as long as you're saying yes, you support the recommendation,
Okay.
it works.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we don't need to make a motion. Okay.
We just need to be clear on what the decision is. So it's still procedural. It might seem a little redundant since we have discussed this already, but there has been a motion and Kim has said yes, and it sounds like you're saying yes. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, legal counsel. This matter will be, and Chair, we will go ahead and bring this to the full board meeting.
Yes. So if no further comment or question, meeting is adjourned.
Actually, one last item.
Yes.
Jay, we did receive some updates to this language. Now, we don't need to, this happened just recently, so we can go ahead and discuss this. What this motion or move is doing is to allow the full board to take up this language, and the board can then decide whether they want to move forward with a regulatory package on it. And therefore, we can continue to make changes to the language you've seen here. The language that we have received will provide even greater clarity. We won't start the rulemaking package until the board approves the language itself. So what's just happening from here is it's moving to the board to discuss, and if the board is okay with it, we will open that discussion and provide greater language at the board's direction at future meeting.
So, Dr. Chen, would you like to listen to this language change today? This is a committee meeting, or just that next time?
I would recommend next time. At this point, just staff hasn't had the opportunity to do a full analysis unless our regulatory legal counsel, Mr. Clay Jackson, would like to step in and kind of direct it. But we don't have that new document for you to look at and for the public to look at. Therefore, it feels like at this point, being that we are working as what you've seen before you as the start of our language, we can still move it forward without having to dive in an instant analysis of what we were just recently provided.
Okay.
So I recommend we just move forward.
Okay, I agree. We just, as is, now we agree to recommend to the board.
Excellent.
Okay.
Chair Chan, back to you.
So any, John or Jay, do you have any other things to add on it?
Looks like that is Jay. Did you have any other items?
Nothing else for me.
Okay. We are clear to adjourn.